ロシー、この試合まだ続けますか？愚かな。
私の負けだ。
ハンマバキ大来大祭出場。
Tell me if this is you. You're seeking for light in a space where you see every low as a weight you have to cling on to. You seek clarity, but you reject it subconsciously every time it comes to you. You feel an urge to go one way, but you find yourself locked into cycles that are destructive and just end up hurting yourself every time. You have a hard time forgiving yourself, so you allow destructive memories, experiences, and trauma to weigh upon you and affect your decision-making in the present. You take the projections of others personally, thus perceiving them as your enemies, when really, most of us on this earth don't even know what we're really living for or even care, thus allowing us to be influenced by the externalized waves outside. That's the state of being that I have observed most of us are living with in this dualistic plane, to various different degrees. If I knowingly hurt you, I know for a fact that I will be hurt back in some way, shape, or form. I probably did so from systematic programming that I have yet to heal within my own being. That's something that I have observed throughout time, the cycles of karma and dharma, or whatever you call it. One could weigh the collateral of damage that you would take back from intentionally hurting another human being, but why have a mind, body, and spirit geared toward that parasitic frequency of energy to begin with? Why choose to be a toxic person when you could be a positive person and spread good energy? Are most of those actions of our own validation? Or is it subconscious mind programming that have us acting in ways that are self-destructive as the 1% enjoy watching us destroy each other? One thing for sure that I have observed is the seeker in pursuit of happiness lost every single time. The seeker of taking another's happiness needed that for validation every single time. But what is beyond time? What survives beyond all turbulence? I would call that a singularity. I would then match that singularity in this dualistic plane with my inner Om. Maintaining my inner Om in all situations would be called nirvana. How could I change the world outside if I am not at peace within? How could I have a healthy relationship if one's expressions all come from a toxic place? Over time in my life, I got to a point where I shifted mentally, physically, and spiritually. I healed my reactionary-based, trigger-based programming and managed to choose love every time, or at least peace. At a certain point, usually right here, right now, there's always an apex of potential that we have the possibility of meeting.
You cannot see.
You think I cannot see?
Of all things, to live in darkness must be the worst.
Fear is the only darkness. Take your broom and strike me with it. Do as I tell you. Strike! Again. Here, catch.
Never assume that because a man has no eyes, he cannot see.
Close your eyes. What do you hear?
I hear the water. I hear the birds.
Do you hear your own heartbeat?
No.
Do you hear the grasshopper, which is at your feet?
Old man, how is it that you hear these things?
Young man, how is it that you do not?
How present are you with the opportunity for growth and benefit regardless of the pressures you're facing? How clear is your internal water distiller? I would say it doesn't matter if you had a bad day or a bad week, or if life is just fucking with you. I personally believe that one must always try to be responsible for the energy one puts out. I always try to remember the relativity of pain and the reality that pain is very subjective. I always remember that the guy or the girl right next to me could take more or less of the same load mentally and spiritually with the right training and preparation. What he or she is whining about, the guy over there is actually extremely grateful for. Mastering one's karma is often mastering one's first instinct. You can master your first instinct by programming your body and your mind. You can program your mind, body, and spirit through determination, visualization, and repetition. And sometimes that does take severe suffering, but it doesn't have to. It actually never does. The pain of causality can either break you or make you a stronger individual. I want that pain to make you stronger because I love you. I love you because I see my reflection within you. How do you know who really loves you though? Well, the truth is, love runs in degrees. The choice is always ours, even when it seems like the latter. How often are the people around you wanting the best for you? On average, how honest are the people around you? How do the people around you treat other people? Do you find yourself competing with your peers and your friends? Or are you expanding and building? Do you really love each other? Or is it a toxic attachment that we all come back to because of our internal problems? I'm personally a heavy lover, and I'm empathetic, but it took some time, struggle, and some major epiphanies to come to that state of being and to come to that state of mind and spirit. A couple of years ago, I came across a major disillusion from my psychedelic and transcendental meditations, where I felt at one with all of existence. I felt at one with the plants, the trees, the animals, a blade of grass, shit, even a cell. It made me realize that we're all living in sin, if ever a thing even existed to begin with. When you really analyze it, all creatures on this plane are subject to duality. And duality usually triggers the faculty of suffering, because everything wants to survive, you know? I've observed that what comes up must come down, and what comes in must go out. Just as we consume, so shall we be consumed, and vice versa. Pain is always a constant, but suffering is definitely optional, no matter what you're going through. Humans are interesting in that way. We all have the faculty for evolution, but evolution is a choice. The idea of optional choice frees us to a certain degree, if one has the eyes to see it. I believe that we can all evolve to a vibration of more harmonious existence, but the choice is ultimately up to the individual. One love.